I think that our relationships with other beings can enrich us as human beings. But then when you see how livestock are raised, how they're kept in the factory farms, it's just such an abomination, really. I met Julia Child when she was old, and you've probably seen the movie, some of you have seen the movie they've made about her life, and she was quite a tough cookie. And she had no space for vegetarians at all. She said, oh, they're sentimental, they're bleeding hearts, I don't want to worry about that kind of stuff. I care about what it tastes like, she'd say. And I was on several panels with her, and at one time we were in Pennsylvania, and I happened to know there was a veal barn not too far from where we were convening, and I told her that, and I said, would you like to see for yourself? She said, no. But I convinced her somehow, and the next day we went, and what was there was just par for the course. It wasn't a particularly egregious example of veal production. It was the way it's done in rural Pennsylvania. It was a barn, and it was probably about as big as this room, and there were individual stalls where each calf was chained at the neck, and there were little walls between them. The calves, the chains were so short that the animal could hardly move at all. It couldn't take a single step. And furthermore, it couldn't even lay down because the chain had it up standing, and it couldn't lay down into its normal sleeping position. So it kind of had to sleep in a very strange, hunched position, a very awkward position. And these were baby calves. Most of these calves were put into this barn within 24 hours of their birth. And they stayed there, if they lived that long, for 3 or 4 months, and then they were butchered. They're fed a diet deliberately void of iron to keep them anemic, make them anemic, so that their flesh would retain the whitish color of birth and never develop a pinkish or reddish color, because white meat is considered healthier. And milk-fed veal, it fetches a higher price. Well, they're not actually fed their mother's milk. They're fed government surplus skim milk powder and various petroleum byproducts. And so I was there with Julia Child, and the suffering is palpable. You don't have to be a vegetarian or an animal rights activist if you see how extreme it is to be appalled. And so there was Julia Child, and she was like, she walks in, and within a few minutes she's kind of like this, and then she's like this, and then she says, can we go now? I said, yeah, I just wanted you to see it for yourself. She said, I had no idea it was so severe. That was what she said to me. And she said, no more veal. I wish that was in the movie. You know, I wish this was better known. She didn't become very public about it because she's known as the foodie, you know. But I use her as an example because of the fact that here was a person who clearly was not vegetarian-oriented in any way. And yet, even she, when she saw it, when she was face-to-face with it. And I think that the industry doesn't want people to have that kind of an experience. When I wrote Diet for New America, I went into certain places like this, and I got some photographs, and they're in the book. Now you can't get them. Now they won't let you in. I had to be a little clever then. Now you have to go with hidden cameras. PETA has to use very sophisticated hidden cameras to get footage because the industry knows if people see it, there'll be a backlash. But isn't it interesting that 99% of the meats and the dairy products and the eggs are produced in a system that the industry doing it knows that if people saw how it was done, they'd shut it down.